Okay, this is Parshas Truma. Actually, it's a Sichas from Chelik Aleph. In the first volume, we'll look at the Sichas. In Nonim from der Heintige Seder steht dreimal the word Truma. The beginning of this week's Seder, it says three times the word Truma. One pasuk says V'yikhuli Truma, they should take Truma to me. Then it says Asher Yidvenu Libe Tikchos Truma. The one that his heart will be generous should take the Truma, my Truma. And the third time it says V'zeis HaTruma Asher Tikchu Meitum. This is the Truma you should take from them. Zov, Kesef, and Cheshes, gold, silver, and copper, etc., etc. Zogt of them the Gemara. So the Gemara says in Shkolim, die drei Trumas einen Trumas Bekelagel Gelis, Shenasa Ma'adonim. These three Trumas are a remes for three types of donations they had to give. One is the Truma of a half a shekel for each person. Shenasa Ma'am Ho Adonim, that they were used to make the Adonim, the sockets that held up the walls, to crush him. A Truma was jeder Ried hat gedarf geben, man macht es a shekel. A Truma that every Ried had to give a half a shekel. Von welchem man hat gemacht, die Schwellen zum Mishkan, they made the sockets for the Mishkan. That's one. A second one is Trumas HaMizbeach, the Truma for the Korbanos of the Mizbeach, which is also Bekel HaGulgelis, half a shekel for each person. Lekupes Liknis Behem Korbanos Sibur, to give to the fund that they use that money to buy the public Korbanos. And in Yiddish he says, the Truma from 80 shekel, was jeder Ried hat gedarf geben, von welchem man hat gekauft Korbanos Sibur. The Truma, the Machzah shekel that every Yid had to give, that they used the money to buy the Korbanos Sibur. And the third one was Trumas HaMishkan, nit was kolechet vechot. The Truma for the Mishkan and seine Kelim. The Truma that everyone could give whatever they want. There's no, and everyone had to give no special amount. There was nothing special. You could give copper, you could give silver, you could give gold, you could give whatever you want as a donation from the Mishkan. These are the three Trumas. Even though they're all hinted in the same beginning of the Parshas Truma, they're not all the same. There's a difference. The Trumas welcome not genutzt for the Korbanos, for the Adonis, and given back al Galgelis. The Trumas that they used for the Korbanos and for the sockets, the Adonim, they were a half a shekel for each person. A half a shekel for jeden, alle gleich, everyone was the same. But the Truma to the Mishkan, the Kelev, the Truma for the Mishkan, the Kelim, is not given in them can bestimmt schum. There was no set amount. Now, wie viel jeder Reiner hat gewollt geben, everyone could give whatever he wanted. Davon verstehe ich, so we have to understand this. For was seine Trumas Korbanos and Trumas Adonim anders from the Truma for the Iberike Bader for the Mishkan? Why are these two different than all the other Truma that what the other needs? This is also, they could have said, make an appeal, everybody should give whatever they want and we'll use it for Korbanos. We'll use it for the Adonim. Why did it had to be that everyone should give the same fixed amount?
How often did any Kalim? How often did
this was only a one-time thing. No, later on also, the truth is, for Bedek Bais, no, if they had that eat. See, the one for the... Yeah, the one for the Korbanos is always half a shekel. Yeah, so the question is, why are these two different? And the Rebbe explains himself. Das was Trumas HaMizbeach is Bekel HaGelis for allem and gleich is verstandig. The fact that for the Truma for the Korbanos, everyone was the same, I understand. While Trumas HaMizbeach is to leave l'chaper al nafshe seichem. The Truma for the Korbanos is to forgive for your nefesh. For what Averis? To the Pirish Rasha says that those gate of Trumas HaMizbeach liknes behem Korbanos Tzibur. It's to buy the Korbanos Tzibur, shar Korbanos la kapora heiboin. The Korbanos came to forgive. Das heißt, a kapora for Chet Egel. It's for other Averis, but the Rebbe is going to explain, really it means all for the Chet Egel. The Estate in Yerushalmi in the Medrash, it says there that this was a kapora for the Chet Egel. It says, Kol ha'ever al apkudim. Poshep Pshat, that means whoever was counted. But Yerushalmi says, Kol ha'ever al apkudim means who was over on the mitzvahs. Kudim are mitzvahs. All the Yidden who were Egel. But anyway, the one that for Korbanos was for kapora, for Averis, Bechlal, which basically would mean for the Egel. So therefore, since it was a kapora for the Egel, we understand why they were all the same. And he explains why. Because a chet from the Egel is given a chet kloli. The Egel was a general Avere. Was hat ongeriert nicht nur die, was haben sich darin beteiligt. It affected not only those that participated. Nur ich Shevet Levi, wo hat sich nicht beteiligt in dem chet. Even Shevet Levi didn't take part in the Avere. Und auch viele Meisher Rabbeinu. Even Moshe himself was at his Bishas Maisa, viele gar nicht given in the Aladames. He wasn't even in that vicinity b'chlal. Das heißt, that is gar nicht, when I feel in them gather from Mishiach B'yod Olimches b'chulu. He was, not only he didn't do the Avere, he wasn't even in the category of being able to protest. Was mit seiner Möglichkeit noch gekannt verwenden. That he should have had ability to stop it. He wasn't even that. Von deswegen hat ihm angeriert der Chet. It affected him too, this Chet. As if state, it says that Moshe, before he even came down, the Eibishter in Shemayim told him, you should know your Yidden made a Chet. Leich reid, go down, Rabbi saying is that the Chachamim said, what does it mean? Reit migdoloscha. Neither a rob from thy grace. Lower heaven a descent from your greatness. Why? Because they made the Egel. That means that the Egel that the Eden made affected every person. That was, it was one big general Aveira. As ewig Chet Egel is given an Inyan in welchem Klal Yisrael als Schleimus von Klal ist durchgefallen. So since Chet Egel was an Inyan that the Klal Yisrael as a whole, as one unit, did, das heißt, that was given a kilkul kloli, it was a ruining, it ruined for everybody, it was a general ruining. The Farat der Tikkun und die Kaporev dem gedarf sein durch an Inyan kloli. So to forgive, it's not an individual thing anymore. See, other Avedas are individual. Everyone who has an Aveda himself has to give a tikkun, has to do something to fix his Aveda. But if it's a general Aveda of the klal, so there has to be something, nothing to do with the individual. So it had to be something inyan klali. Was alle haben gedarf geben gleich. That's why everyone had to give the same. For a message given an inyan of Klal Yisrael. It was the inyan of Klal Yisrael, not individual. So how do you show that it's from the klal? By everyone participating equally. So he says, so I understand why by the Machzis HaShekel, for the Korbanos, which was mainly for the Chet Eitzadah, for the Chet HaEgel, I understand why they were all the same. The Rebbe is going to continue. Verstehen dem Inyan mehr ausführlich. I could explain this even more. This last point that he made, that the Chet HaEgel is a Inyan Kloli, that's why everyone had to give the same. I could elaborate on it, and this is what he's going to say. As is Vavust, we know as Chet HaEgel is in the Msuk from Chet Eitzadas. Chet HaEgel is in the same category as the Chet Eitzadas. It's equivalent to Chet Eitzadas. And he says, how do we see it? Because through Chet Eitzadas, Yord Zum Aleilam, it says that through the Chet Eitzadas, a Tumah came into the world. The whole world got Tumah. B'shas Matan Torah, Poskazo Amosim, it says at time Matan Torah, the Tumah left. V'ayidei Chet Egel Chosro. But the Chet Egel came back. So all Chet Egel was a repeat of the Chet Eitzadas. Der Fund ist moving, aber wir können klar verstehen, der Minion von Chet HaEgel durch Hereintrachten, in was ist bestanden durch Chet Eitzadas und in der Minion von Matan Torah. So in order to understand what happened through Chet HaEgel, so let's understand what happened to Chet Eitzadas. Then we'll know what Chet HaEgel is. Let's understand what Matan Torah is. If Matan Torah was able to fix the Chet Eitzadas, so we'll understand from that, what is the Chet? So let's look into that. So he explains what the Chet Eitzadas is. Inoni from the Bria is given Elam HaMaluya Nivra. In the beginning of the creation, the world was created, Amaluya, complete, full. What does it mean, full? Not only Begashmis. It means Begashmis also, that everything was full. It wasn't like things were created, like Adam Rishon wasn't created like a baby. He was a minute old, but he looked like he was a 20-year-old, it says in Medrash. That means he was created full. Same thing, when Abisha created wheat, he didn't create the seed, and then you have to plant it. He created wheat. Everything was full, Begashmis. But Beruchnis also, what does it mean? That there was Gilui Elokus in the world. Und Ike Shchine betachtoinim hoise. The Shchine was down here. Chet Eitzadas is Yord Zu Aleilam. Chet Eitzadas, Tumah came down. And what happened? If Tumah came in, so them is the Welt nicht gewen kein zu Elokus begilui. So now no more. The world is not a vessel to have Elokus in it. Begilui, revealed way. That is Bavust. And where do we see clearly that the world was not ready to absorb godliness? We know as Agam Kimo was Kolatera Kula actually Nitno. Chocha the Ovis on Mekayim and the ganze Torah is gegeben geworden. We know that even though the Ovis fulfilled all the mitzvahs, the whole Torah before it was given, it was aber nicht given, verbunden mit dem Geshem from Welt bei vom Pnimi. It wasn't the mitzvahs that not connect in a pnimistic way into the world, which means when you do a mitzvah, you bring down godliness, every mitzvah. But the godliness that you brought down to the mitzvah did not penetrate it into Gashmi. Poshet the words, a pair of tefillin that the Ovis wore was not holy. Nowadays, after Matan Torah, when you put out do a mitzvah with tefillin, the tefillin becomes a chayfet shel kedusha. There it didn't. Their best raya is that when Avram Avinu and Yankov Avinu wanted to make someone swear, they said, Simna yot chotach hazirechi. Put your hand by the milah. Why the milah? Because when you swear, you have to have a chayfet shel kedusha. So what's the problem? Avram had tefillin. Avram had chayfet shel kedusha. He had mezuzah. He kept all the mitzvahs. So why didn't you take that? So the answer is, it wasn't the chayfet shel kedusha. It wasn't an object that had kedusha. Because before Matan Torah, godliness could not come into Gashmias. Vom Ruchnis mit Gashmias eine gewähnt weit eine von der zweite. Ruchnis und Gashmias far apart. Ruchnis hat gekannt stehen in Gashmias, in Apnimias und in Aefen von Klita. Ruchnis could not come into Gashmias, and it couldn't stay there, be really absorbed, and it should stay there. It should contain Ruchnis. It makes a lot of sense. I don't want to go into it because that's something that in the Sichas we learned the Rebbe hundreds of times. But the main point is it's impossible. It's impossible for Ruchnis to come into Gashmis. Physically, it's impossible. Gashmi Ruch are two worlds. That's why it's Hashemayim, Shemayim, Lashem, Voras, Nasan, Libni Yodam. It can't be. The best dogma it can be, take Seichel. Seichel is not godliness. It's part of this physical world. Nevertheless, because it's a different category, it's more not tangible, it can't go into Gashmis. You try to explain a svara to the table. You try to explain the table doesn't chap. So give him a better moshel. Explain it with another hezbollah. It can't, because they're two worlds. So if Seichel, which is part of this world, nevertheless, because it's something that's not tangible, cannot connect to Gashmis, so how could Ruchnius, godliness connect to Gashmis? It's impossible. That's the roof of Matan Torah given.
But by the Mila, you had Elkus.
Because the Eibusha says it. The only possibility if the Eibusha tells you to do it.
Right.
So when by Matan Torah, when the Eibusha said to do the mitzvahs, now we have the koyach to combine it. Because the Eibusha is beyond Gashmis and Ruchnius, so he could combine. So the mitzvah, the only mitzvah that Avraham Avinu had, that the Eibusha told him, was Mila. So when Mela there, he was able, that was a chayfet shel mitzvah.
Is there additional Gilei Elkus by Matan Torah for the Mila even?
Yeah. The roof of Matan Torah given, what happened by Matan Torah? Es ist Arob de Zume. The Truma left. What happened now? Es ist geworden a Ausleiterung im Welt. The world became purified. Und der Fahr kennen sein Torah mitzvahs in Dorm Gashmi bepnimius. So Torah mitzvahs could cause that godliness comes inside the Gashmi. Man soll kennen machen von Gashmi is a Kehle zur Göttlichkeit. You should be able to make from Gashmi is that should be a vessel that should contain godliness. So that's what happened by Matan Torah. That's the pshah that Matan Torah took away the tumah from the Chetitz Dah. But Chetitz Dahs, it made that the world is not a Keila to Gashmias, to Ruchnis to Lakus. Matan Torah took away the tumah, now it's possible.
Because you had Klippus Noga after the Chet, right? So the Noga was there. So now the Noga is just more begila or more able to be...
Which Chet are you talking about?
At Chetitz Das. That was a Timsum Mishnah, right? So that made
No,
that
that became Klippa in the world.
Yeah, right.
Sholish Klippus Atmeis also.
And also Klippus Noga.
Also Klippus Noga. We still have Klippus Noga, but Klippus Atmeis also.
The Noga was more easily be able to...
I don't know, there was no Sholish Klippus Atmeis. The Sholish Klippus Atmeis vanished. Because now there's only, the world is a Keila to Kedusha.
You're saying that in the beginning, the Gilui of Hashem allowed things to be created, Adam 20-year-old.
No, that's the thing. That's the Elam HaMiluya Begashmias. But the Elam HaMiluya also means Beruchnias. That the world was created full, complete, meaning that it was a Keila to Lakus. They were created, that was Gan Eden. Gan Eden is where Lakus is Begilui.
So the Chet took that Gilui and...
The Gilui away. Didn't allow, caused the world to become so fagrept that the world can't take Gashmias. Can't take Ruchnias. Gashmias can't take Ruchnias.
Oh, so the separation happened at that.
Yeah. But the separation is a natural separation. Naturally, it can't.
Right.
What happened at the beginning of creation, because the Eibusher created, the Eibusher made that it should be able to. When that left, so now the world can't contain Ruchnias. So what happened now? Matan Torah came and took away that problem. So now what happened with the Chet Egel? Brought it back. Chet Egel had made it given zurück the Zuma for Chet Etzadas in Klal Salem. So the Chet Egel brought it back, that Tumah, and made again that the world is not a Keilah to Ruchnias. Oh, but it's not the same. He says, der Aufruf von Matan Torah is sicher geblieben echt noch in Chet Egel. What Matan Torah accomplished definitely continued after Chet Egel also. Warum ich jetzt is da a Chiluk zwischen Eden mit Lahav und nicht Eden. Even now there's a difference in Eden and Goyim. By Eden is ich jetzt geblieben Torah mitzvahs begashmis. We still are able to do and bring godliness into the world. Was the Inyan of Torah mitzvahs is zu beheften und vereinzigen Gashmi mit der Lakus. We still can do it. Aber von deswegen na gewisse Mosummetrie is a gewisse Mosummetrie gekommen. If not for the Chet Egel, it would have been Bechlal. Kedusha would have been in the world very open. You wouldn't have to work. Now they brought back the Tumah to a certain degree. Und die Summe ist nicht nur in Anoshim Protim und in Yonim Protim, nur in Klal Salem. The Tumah came back into the world. So now we still have the ability of bringing a Lakus into the world. But we have to work on it. So it brought, because by Matan Torah, what happened was, the Eibusher said, and the whole world absorbed godliness, and that's it. That would have stayed that way. We wouldn't have to work on it. That's actually what happened by Matan Torah. The Rebbe teaches, what the Medrash says that Lehoy Lebaskol, the Aseres Adibur didn't have an echo. Why didn't it have an echo? A miracle? Forget it. A strong voice makes an echo. Because the reason there's an echo, because when the voice bounces off the wall or bounces off something, it makes an echo. But Matan Torah, the Lakus, the words, was absorbed into the world. So there was no echo. But when they did the Chet Egel, they got rid of it. It changed. The Tumah came back, and now we got a big job. But we're still able. Torah mitzvahs is still able to bring, but it's not like it would have been without it.
For 39 days, that's what it was.
Huh?
For 39 days,
Yeah,
that's what
it was. Yeah. So how did they do the Chet Egel if there was no klipper? The same kasha in the Chet Tzadas. Just like by the Chet Tzadas, there was no Yitzhahara, but there was no Bechira. There's no Yitzhahara to say there's a free choice, but for only one Avera. There was no Bechira Bechlal. Everything else not. The Eibishter left one Avera for listening from the eating of the tree. And the same thing here also. The Eibishter left it for one Avera. He still gave, even though it's the worst Avera. He gave Bechira and they used the Bechira and that's it and they spoiled it. Now there's Shaychas Averas. If not for the Chet Egel, there would be no possibility of Averas. If not for the Chet Tzadah, there would be no possibility for Averas. They made it should be possible because there's Klippa back into the world. But the Eibishter did accomplish that Torah mitzvahs is able to bring godliness. And Mashiach will come, it'll come back again, and then we won't have any Bechira again another one later on.
That's a very deep concept that without Chet Tzadah, Matan Torah is like Mashiach.
Yeah. But it's not like Mashiach. B'horaya, they did the Chet Egel afterwards. But when Mashiach will come after that, it won't be possible anything. In other words, it's still not the same. There's another Sichas in Chelik Yud where the Rebbe explains this, in Chelik Yud Aleph actually, where the Rebbe explains this, that as much as we say that by Matan Torah was an aliyah, legabe do before, but when Mashiach will come, it will be even a bigger aliyah. And the raya is that the way the aliyah is of Matan Torah, as great as it wasn't so great. But afterwards you could have done the Chet Egel and bring the Tumah back. And after Mashiach, that's the end. That's not going to happen.
Maybe you should give Torah mitzvahs, but without Schapiro, what's Torah mitzvahs worth?
Just like you say, David should created the world for what reason? For Bechira, and then what happened if they wouldn't sin with Chet Tzadas? That's a good kasha, but that's a separate kasha. Has to do not with the Egel, has to do with the Chet Tzadas. What did the Eibishter want? The Eibishter created the world. He wanted Dira b'Tachtonim. It wasn't Tachtonim. It wasn't a low. The Eibishter wanted we should fight for it. So the Eibishter gave him a test. Had they stood the test, had they passed the test, it wouldn't happen. The answer is the Eibishter gave him a test, but he knew what they would choose. Same thing here. They knew that Yidden would make the Egel. It's all the same
We
lines.
can continue like that. He gives us a Bechira, he gives us a,
No, now we have Bechira in everything. Now we have Bechira because there's Klippa, so we have Bechira in everything.
Even in one thing. And so we can go to higher Madrega, Gilead.
Yeah, but then had they passed that test of this one thing, that would be the end. So the Chet Egel is like Chet Tzadas, what brought to made that the world is not a Kela to a Lakus really. And to who did it ruin it? To individuals? To everybody, to the whole world, to the whole Klolus Olam. That Tikkun of a Chet Egel is Machzah Shekel. There's a Machzah Shekel. Was bei dem steht, Zeh Yitnu, Zeh Loshen Gilui. It says, this is what you should give. Where it says the word Zeh, it's something that's revealed. K'may Merazal, when it says Zeh Keli ve'anveyu, it says, this is my God. So the Chazal say, Kol echad ve'echad mare be'etzboy ve'emer Zeh Keli. Everyone was showing with the finger and said, this is my God. So when it says the word Zeh, it means Gilui. Das heißt, als durch Machzis HaShekel und Avedes HaKarbonis, durch Machzis and the Karbonis, und bisman hazeh, when we have no Karbonis, durch Avedes HaTfile, was wir mokem Karbonis, tiknu mit Tfile davening, which is in the place of Karbonis, nehmt man arob die Zume. That's one of the ways to get rid of this Tumme. Und when is mamshich zuri gilei lukus in the world. Since it's supposed to fix the Chet Egel, which brought the Tumme, this takes away the Tumme and brings gilei lukus in the world. Davon ist verstandig, aside the Chet Egel, aside the tikkun of them zanyonim klolim. So for that we understand. The Chet of the Egel was a general thing. The tikkun, which is macht, is a general thing, and that explains why everyone gave the same. It's not an individual thing that you give more, you give less. Everyone has to be part of it the same way because it's all for the klal. Der mit wird man verstehen, kame dinim was einen gewähren in Machzis HaShekel. This will explain many dinim in Machzis HaShekel. Number one, die Geld, was jeder einer hat gegeben, ist geworden Moment Zibur. The moment that the money everyone gave, became money belonging to the community. Jeder einer hat gegeben sein eigenes Geld. Everyone had to give their own money. Aber hat das gedarft, weggeben, if Eifen, as soll werden, Usmama Yochid. You have to give it away. It should not be individual anymore. The Lashon of the Gemara is, Meisrei letzibur, Yofe Yofe. You have to really give up your rights over it and you give it to the tzibur. You can't say, okay, so it'll be partnership. Not of mine only, it'll be everybody's. Not that. Not tzibur geld. See, a partnership is not a new unit. A partnership is made up of a few partners. Tzibur is a different story. Tzibur is a unit of tzibur. That's why it says, tzibur loy mes. The Gemara says, tzibur doesn't die. It's the same tzibur. That means, interesting, the Rebbe once went to this Bariches, the tzibur of Klal Yisrael now is not a hemshech to the tzibur of 100 years ago and the tzibur of Moshe's time. It's the same tzibur. The Gemara says in Herias, that the Gemara says that when they built the second Beis HaMikdash, they brought the korban chatos, tzibur. So the Gemara says, what was it for? So the Gemara says, because in the beginning, after the Churban, Nebuchadnezzar, they worshipped Avodah Zarah. So they had to bring a korban. So the Gemara says, but most of the people 70 years before died already. So it's a chatos shemeisa baleo, that the people died. So the Gemara answers, it's a korban tzibur, tzibur leimes, it's the same tzibur. The same tzibur. But Mele, he says, tzibur is a unit. So the korban, the machzah shekel was given for a tzibur to become part of the tzibur.
In the dachas, you kill it.
Huh?
And you're in the dachas, you kill everybody, right? No tzibur.
Okay. Talking about Yisrael, it's a different tzibur. Second thing, for the geld macht a shekel mit gekauft karbonis tzibur. For the money they bought karbonis tzibur. So what does that mean? So the Rebbe goes in detail. The Rambam is ein Akzdome to Pirush HaMishnah, said the Kochim. The Rambam in his introduction to his Pirush HaMishnah to Kochim, it explains like this: Sifaran, fear, meaning in karbonis. 4 kinds of karbonis. Number 1, karbonis tzibur, public karbonis. 2, karbonis yachid, individual karbonis. The third is karbonis tzibur deimel lekorban yachid. Karbonis tzibur which are like korban yachid, public karbonis which are like individual karbonis, and korban yachid deimel lekorban tzibur. And the private karbonis like korban tzibur. And he explains what they are. Karbonis tzibur, what is the regular category of karbonis tzibur? Seine die karbonis is haben a bestimmten Zman und dann ist makriv al tzibur. Karbonis that have a set time and you bring it for the whole community. Azay vi tmidim, korban tamid every day. You have to do it in a certain time. Musafim korban musaf. Korban yachid, seine karbonis haben nicht kein bestimmten Zman und jeder eine ist makriv al yachid. Both conditions. They have no time. Person could bring a korban whenever he wants. And it's his private korban. Korban tzibur deimel the korban yachid. What's the tzibur which is like yachid? So the karbonos was say makriv al tzibur. You bring it as a korban tzibur. It's from the community. So you have nicht kein bestimmten Zman. There's no set time. Azevi par helam dover. If the whole community, the Bezdin paskened wrong and they all made a mistake and they have to bring a korban par helam dover shel tzibur. So there's no time when to bring it. Whenever it happens, you bring it. But that's a korban tzibur. So tzibur deimel yachid.
You have to bring during the day. You can't bring at night, right?
Okay, so.
Oh, just anytime.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no, you don't have to bring it in the morning. You don't have to bring it a yontiv like Shabbos. Korban yachid deimel the korban tzibur. What's that? The korban yachid like tzibur. I know the karbonos was mizim makriv als yachid, private. Aber sie haben ein bestimmtes Mann. They have a set time. Azevi, korban pesach. Korban pesach, everyone has to bring, but there's a certain time you have to bring it. So he says like this: korban yachid, eich korban yachid was deimel tzibur. The regular korban yachid or the yachid which is like tzibur. Hat man nicht gekauft von der Geld für machzah shekel. They didn't buy it with the machzah shekel. Wegen korban tzibur deimel korban yachid, the other one, the tzibur like yachid, you find a plukter. Like the par helam dover shel tzibur that they brought if they made a mistake. There's an argument. Der halacha bleibt, als eich auf zeh hat man nicht gekannt nutzen, hat man nicht genommen für machzah shekel. They did not use it. So all 3 categories they didn't. Which ones did they use machzah shekel for? Der darf gave korban tzibur mamish. The real korban tzibur hat man genommen für machzah shekel to machzah shekel. The tam, so we have 2 inyonim that we have the machzah shekel. Number 1, the money had to become tzibur money, and it was used only again for tzibur karbonis, real tzibur karbonis. The tam pnimya beide dinim, the real reason, the deeper reason for both things is the bald as machzah shekel is going on inyan kloli, since machzah shekel was like we explained before. It was a general thing for the chet ha'egel, which was general. Hat es gedarf sein momes tzibur, man hat es vernutzt auf karbonis tzibur darf mamish. It was because it was a community problem, the chet ha'egel, and this was a tikkun of the chet ha'egel, which is tzibur. It had to be both in yonim. The money had to be tzibur and the karbonis had to be tzibur. Das ist die Erklärung für was Truma am Mizbeach haben gegeben alle gleich. So this all is all to explain the first thing. Why the money for the korban tzibur, for the machzah shekel, for the korban tzibur had to be all equal, because it's a inyan kloli, which means there's no individual thinking.
Like it's a das is on him other one should have been a korban yachid, but he represented it.
He's not a yachid. Aber when the gehe Truma so adonim is nicht verstanden, but the other Truma, the one they use for the sockets, was hat in them gedarf sein becker like algelis darf. Why did they make it that everyone should give the same half a shekel? They could have said that everyone should give whatever you want, and then they would make the adonim. Noch mehr is nicht verstanden. Question is even more. The adonim seien doch a teil vom Mishkan. The adonim are just part of the building of the Mishkan. Kommt doch aus beide Trumas Adonim and Trumas Mishkan seine Nord zu lieb der Mishkan seine Kelim. So the other Truma that they gave as everyone whatever he wanted, and the Truma for the Adonim were all basically for the Mishkan and the Caleb. But the Mitteln is a chus from Trumas HaMizbeach. That's different than the Mizbeach. The other Machzis HaShekel for the Korbanos was not for building the Mishkan. That was for especially for the Korbanos. But both of these were for building the Mishkan. So why did he divide it into two? See, the kasha is, before the way he put the kasha was, why everyone the same? Now he's asking why Bechal should be two separate things. Why have two separate? Separate, Bechal, two different like appeals, and each one is different also. Trumas HaMishkan is ish kifi yashi idvena libe. Trumas HaMishkan is as much as you want. And Trumas Adonim is bekel agagel. It has to be equal by everyone, half a shekel. Now the Rebbe explains it like this. The Yerushalmi Taich is the dreimal Truma was in Posik. Yeah, the Reina welchem Truma is Maramis. We said before there are three psukim that have the word Truma. Goes on these two Trumas. Which kosa goes on what? So Yerushalmi tells us exactly. He says like this. The first Posik, V'yiklugli Truma, you should take from me Truma, gate of Trumas Hadonim. That goes on the Machzis HaShekel that they gave for the sockets. Tikchu es Trumasi, those words, Tikchu es Trumasi, gate of Trumas HaMizbeach. That goes the Machzis HaShekel for the Mizbeach. V'zeis ha-Truma asher tikchu mi'itam. And the later passage where it says, this is the Truma you should take, that gate of Trumas HaMishkan. That's the general Trumas HaMishkan. How do we learn it out? What is the connection between each pasuk? So he says, the Reif Nalim in the pasuk is, the way they learn it is like this. By Zeis ha-Truma asher tikchu mi'itam, by the last words, this is the Truma you should take from them. So in that pasuk, Zokter, Zov, Kesef, and Necheshev, it says clearly what you should give. Zov, Kesef, Necheshev, etc. The alle 13, die 15 Sachen, 13 or 15 things. Why does the Rebbe always keep on saying 13 or 15? Because Rashi holds it's 13, and other Meforshim hold it's 50. Whatever.
What's the difference?
It's no different. It doesn't.
What?
In Gashmi is it no difference.
But when you say 15, what are you counting? The 13?
Oh, you mean which ones they count? I think Shem Alamoyer, Psalm Alamoyer, counted like one. There's two things that there's a shaila if you count it like one. I count it. Shem Alamoyer. I think those two. I think so. I don't remember. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So we understand why this last pasuk where it says, "This is the truma you shall give, gold, silver." Why that goes gatos of Nitvas HaMishkan. That goes because that's exactly what by Nitvas HaMishkan there was no limit. You could get what you want, and that's what the pasuk says. By the pasuk tikchu as trumosi, but the other pasuk where it says, "You shall take my truma," zokter asher yidvenu libe. You give as your heart will donate. He mentions the heart. The far gates of karbonis. The guy goes on machshekol karbonis. But he says negay machshava shebelev. That goes on the feeling of the heart. Azayich tfilis, tfilis you can neg to medium tikun tfilis instead of karbonis. You doch tfilah veda shebelev. Tfilis for the heart. The ikar from tfilah is machshava. The main part of tfilah is the thoughts that you have, the kavanah that you have. Ubamela, so this pasuk asher yidvenu libe goes on the machzis hashekel for karbonis. Leib, the pasuk from yikchu li truma, the first pasuk which is it says you shall take truma to me, was gate of the Adonim. So obviously that goes on the Adonim and the other truma. Leidem, the way the Yerushalmi puts it, it's an interesting thing. Steht der Wort li by dem truma von Adonim dafke. So the word li goes steht by the Adonim. Now it doesn't mean it only goes on the Adonim. Be'emes geht der Yikhuli of alle drei truma. The Yikhuli is like an introduction to all. Und noch tiefer, of kol es ha-teire va-mitzvahs. Bechlal, the word Yikhuli goes on all teire mitzvahs. The steht in Tanya b'shem ha-zayar, it brings in Tanya from the Zayar, as durch teire mitzvahs, when you do teire mitzvahs, is the Yikhuli. See, he asks Shaila, why do they say Yikhuli should take me for me truma? V'yitnuli truma should say. So the Zayar answers, the Pasuk is telling you, because when you'll give the truma, which is a mitzvah, you'll be taking me. Eisiatem leichem. V'yikhuli. So really the word li goes on the whole Torah mitzvahs. Aber von deswegen steht der Wort li befeirish by Adonim dafke. But where is the word written? Written the word li specifically by the Truma for the Adonim. Zet man davon noch achilik von der Adonim mit die andere Teilen von Mishkan und the Karbonis. Here we see another difference. Before we said the difference is from the Truma is that over there that went for Tzibur, this doesn't go for Tzibur. But here we see another difference. Was in the Adonim dafke is their li begilui. By the Adonim, the word li, that's stressed. What does li mean? It says that it says a medrash that wherever it says li is forever. That means it's much stronger. It has more something that's infinite, more infinity. Where is that? More by the Adonim. Why? So we're back to the question. Why by the Trumas Adonim they give everyone the same? There's no reason. By the Korbanos Machzit, there's a reason, because it's a Inyan Kloli. So Kloli, everyone gives the same, but this is not Inyan Kloli. So why is everyone the same? And now we have another Inyan. Why is the lead, Dafke, the specialty there? So he explains it like this. The Chilik von der Adonim and the andere Teilen von Mishkan in beide the Monte Chilukim, the difference between Adonim and the other parts of the Mishkan, in both things that we said before, that this is everyone the same and this not, and this says Li is not, that man verstehen, der klärendig the frier the meaning von Adonim and Nefesh Adam. Oh, let's see Beruchnias in the person's Avedas Hashem. What is the meaning of the Adonim? So he says like this: on this posik where it says, "Make me a migdash and I will dwell amongst them." So the Chazal say, "It doesn't say I'll dwell in it, but in them." In every yid. Bemele is moving as eichen the Mishkan migdash haruchnis, was in jeden Yiden seine Verein alle Teilen von the Mishkan, the Teil von Adonim. Since the Mishkan is really by every yid, so every part of the Mishkan we find in a certain way in the Yidden, in every yid, including the Adonim. What's the union of Adonim by a yid in his Aveda? The Adonim seine gewähnt der niedrigste Teil von Mishkan. The Adonim was the lowest part of the Mishkan. Von deswegen seine sie darf gewähnt der Yesod von der ganzen Mishkan. It's like two opposites. It's the lowest, but it's the foundation of the Mishkan. Eich von the Kroschen wie is. It was the foundation that held up the walls and the roof. Chotsch seine gewähnt hecher von the Adonim. They were higher. Nevertheless, it was held up through the Adonim. What does that mean? In Avedas Odom is the union from Adonim, shiftless a bittel. Since it's very low, it's on the bottom, it represents shiftless and bittel. A bittel, anivus, humility. If a person holds himself low, a person is not a balgaivet. That's what Adonim are. A person holds himself at the bottom. I'm all the way on the bottom. That's what Adonim are. The kroshim benefesh Odom, zayne de keches pnimim, seichel amidas. The walls, that represents the other parts of the person. The person's intellect, the person's emotions. The fire zayne say eser amas. That's what it would 10 amas. Connected to eser keches hanefesh, because a person has 10 keches. Chachma, bina, das, chesed, gvura, tiferes, netzach, hedised, malchus. So the kroshim represent the person's seichel amidas. The yeriyas, which is on top, zayne de keches makifim. The yeriyas covered. Those are the other keches which are not called keches pnimim, the attributes which are pnimius, like seichel midas, but that represents there are two keches which are called keches makifim by a person. Besides the other keches, they're called keich harotzen, the keich hatainug, the keich of will, and the keich of pleasure. That's the yeriyas. The adonim, are niederker von all Avedas Prati. The adonim are lower than the seichel and the midas, and lower than the keches makifim. Das ist drinja von shiflus und bittel von Kabbalah. That's accepting the yoke of Hashem. Von deswegen, even though it's lower, it does dafke der Yesod von ganzem Mishkan. That's the foundation. Wie wir sagen, we say in Davening, wenn nafshe ke'ofer lakel tia, my nefesh should be like dust, everybody, on bottle. Und durch dem is, what happens through that? Psach libi v'seirasecha v'mitzvesecha tidef nafshi. Then you open up, afterwards you first, if you have this foundation, then you could open up your heart to Torah, and you could open up yourself to mitzvahs. So this is what the Adonim is. Das ist der Tam, was Trumas Adonim is given nur the Meshn Yor. One another differences between Adonim, that Trumas Adonim was only once. Just in the beginning, when Yidden started their Aveda by the Mishkan. Never again. Aber die andere Trumas are nicht später. The other ones were later. The one for Korbanos certainly was Machzah Shekel, but even the other ones, they constantly had to raise money for by the Bais to build. What's the pshat? Because the Inyan is, Shiflos and Bittel are in the Yesod and Onfak von Aveda, because since the Adonim represent Bittel is the beginning. Das darf man haben zum allermeisten. That's what you need in the beginning. When noch, b'shas man hotch in the Yesod, when you have the foundation, darf man tonim adreges pratis and Aveda. Then you have to do on your Seichel, on your Midas. But the foundation, is like Nasa and Nishma, that's basically the Yesod. First is Nasa, I accept, Kabbalah Seil. Then Nishma, I will think, I will understand, I will listen. So their fathers are only from their Aveda from Tog. That's what every day is like that. See, in Klal Yisrael, as the whole history of Klal Yisrael, the beginning was the Adonim. It's only once. The first year, that's when you start. Every day is the same thing. It starts off with Meidani, which is not Seichel or Midas or anything. It's just, I give myself over to Hashem. I admit to Hashem. Heidu Lavaya. You admit to Hashem. For Heidu or Bittel, Zayin Ascholas, we saw the Aveda, because admitting and being bottled to Hashem is the beginning and foundation of the Aveda. Und danach kommen die Madreges Pratis. After that come the individual. Psuke de Zimre, Birchas Krishme, all these different things come afterwards. But it has to also, so this is the beginning. Then werden verstehen, beide Chilukim zwischen die Adonim und die andere Teilen von Mishkan. This will explain both differences between the Adonim and the other parts of the Mishkan. The other parts, as we said, represent Aveda Pnimis, of individual Aveda and everything. In Aveda Pnimis, Kroshim and Yeriyas, in the Aveda of the details of a person, which is represented by the walls, by the boards, and by the roof, is do achilik von einer bis zum zweiten, not the curtains. The top. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
The curtains are ones that are hanging. You call them curtains. What are they called in English? They're called curtain, not called curtain.
You say, what were you?
In Yiddish, they're called curtains.
No.
Curtains is a partition, no?
Pareches.
Pareches.
Urea
What's
is
it called?
Tarp. But it's not tarp.
It's not the, whatever. It's the ceiling.
Okay, urea are not the curtains, fine.
They're not the
We
curtain.
said they were kochas makifim, now we say avoidus panini.
No. He means pnimis means protis. Avedim, when you deal with the protis dikinyonim, with your seichel, with your midas, with your rotzim, with your tainuk, when you deal with that, there's a difference between one and another. But yet the darvs din the meibish mit zayne keiches chushim. Everyone has to serve Hashem according to his ability, his keiches, his chushim, his senses. Aber in dem Bittel von Kabbalah Seil, sind alle gleich. Kabbalah Seil is not specific. Everyone's saying, not being a Metzias and being bottled, they're all the same. And then that's the first thing. That's why we understand already why everyone they give the same, because they're all the same. Another thing we said before, that only here it says Li. So he says, durch was nennt man Atzmus? How do you connect to the etzem of the Eibishter? And the word Li means me, the etzem, durch Bittel Davke. That's Bittel. Leib Eish Havaya, it says a posik. The Eibishter, you don't get to Eish. Eish is very important. It's by Matan Torah was Eish. Leib Rash Havaya, Leib Ruach, not in noise, not in Ruach, nor killed Momadako. Very quiet means Bittel. Tamon Kosi Malka, it says, that's what it says, but there's a moshel. Like the marshal is when they saw the king was coming, but before the king comes, there's always, all kinds of groups. So they didn't know, so they saw groups coming with noises, so they said, no, that's not, that the king is not there. Then came another type of music, and that's not there. Then it's quiet, and there's a carriage that went, that's supposed to be the king. Same thing here it says, Leib Eish Hashem, what? If it's killed, now the Melech is coming. That's talking about all the protim of these madregas. So we understand these two things, why you had to give everyone the same, and why it says li here, because here you take the etzem of the Eibishter. This is similar, I don't know if the Rebbe brings it here, but the Baal Shem Tov word, pshitus, von aish poshut, they're linked in pshitus ha'atzmus. The simplicity of a simple yid that doesn't know any chokhmas, just push it. He does what Eibishter gave him, connects to the pshitus, the simplicity of the Eibishter himself, not to any madregis atzilis. He doesn't know anything. That's what we're saying here. Then he continues. Agama the Yiseda Avedis Kabbalah Seil Bittel. Now we said the foundation is Bittel Kabbalah Seil. That's the foundation. Aber wie gerät free, as he said before, he does not der Yisod. It's the foundation. Shleimus Avedi is the real way to do Aveda. Men soll avegem zum Eibischen Erdikeches Pnimim. You have to serve Hashem also with your inner, with Seichel Amidas, with the details of your abilities. When in them communicates sein mit Machtes HaShekel. So when it comes to that, that's why the other ones, the other things, the Kroshim, there wasn't the Machtes HaShekel. There, everyone had to give his own. And how much did they have to give? Everyone according to his ability. Nor azevi the din is by Karbonas. By Karbonas it says, Oshe shehevi korban oni le yotzo. If a rich man, and there's this certain kabbanas, there is a difference for a rich man and a poor man. If a rich man brought a poor man's korban, you're not yetze. By jeden einen Montman, everyone is expected as a lavegem, sein ganzen seichel mit die ganze midas meibischen. You can't give a little bit of yourself. Just like in money, you can't give a little bit. You got to give as much as you can afford. So here also, that's the remez in the fact that everyone had to give, not just the machzes hashekel, to give more. Von der andere Seite steht dort, but it says on the other hand, Oni shehevi minchas osher yotzo. If a poor man brings a korban of a rich man, he is yotze. And we meforshim taichen, the meforshim explain, is not nor yotze b'di'evet. Sometimes the word yotze means b'di'evet, if you did it. No, meforshim say, a poor man, if he goes out of his way and brings a korban from a rich man, he's yotze. Noch mere tove olo brocha. The meforshim say, adarab, it's good. What does that mean? The inyan from them in Ruchnius, this means, if somebody was poor. Now, Ruchnius poor means he's poor in sense, he's poor in his intellect, he's poor in his understanding of godliness. Was es fällt him in limud nigla de Torah. He doesn't know how to learn nigla. Da vielen kima mitzvahs behider is not so careful in mitzvahs. Bei ihm mont man soll lernen pnimis ha-Torah, minchas osher. The Rebbe says, what's called a rich man's korban? A rich man means he has more than regular. Nigla is not more than regular. Nigla, you got to learn. It's a question. Shasa poskim, you got to learn. To a mitzvah behidur, you got to learn. Osher is something more. So we're saying he's a oni. Oni means he's missing. See, there are three levels. There's a regular average person. He has enough. He's not rich, but he has enough. Then you have an oni on one side and an osher on the other side. So we say an oni, which means it's not regular. So he's missing in Yediyah. He's not regular. Nevertheless, he could also bring a korban osher. L'chatchila. He brings in the osher. Und das Gufe wird bringen as tove alo brocho. Like we said over there, bring a broch. Es wird sein der aser mach sich reich beschwil sich es asher. We teach here a different than Poshup. Poshup Pshat is Aser Tasreno, it says. Aser, give Meiser, give a tenth. So the Eibusha will make you rich. Here it teaches the first Asher also. Make yourself rich. You're not rich. And I say, you're a guy. I'm Shaychas to learn Pnimis HaTeirah. I don't know how to learn a piece of Gemara. I'm learning Pnimis HaTeirah. Make yourself rich. Make it.
Is the richness the Peshitas, really? Not the,
Here it's not the Pshitas. Here the richest is the Seichel Amidas. Here it's learning Chassidus, is learning Pnimis HaTeirah. Seichel Amidas is the richest. And do it, you will become rich. Meaning, Ein Osher El Badas, you'll get your mind. Wird sein an Osher Beruchnius, you'll become an Osher in Ruchnius. In seine Chushim ve'Yechelis, in your abilities, you're going to become rich. And that's what Arab kommen, Eichen Ashiras gepshute begashmias. And if you're rich in Ruchnius, it'll bring down riches in Gashmias, bebon echaye, mezeine reviche. And children, and life, and parnos, and everything in a reviche way.